Hi, welcome to my kitchen. My name's Melissa. Today, I had a very busy day, so I want to just make a quick, easy, simple dinner. It's called chicken fritters with a side of homemade onion rings. I had a busy day today, and so I just want to keep it simple. So I'd like to share with you how I make my homemade chicken fritters and my side dish, which is homemade onion rings. And I'm keeping it low carb. Not only am I keeping this recipe low carb, but I'm still keeping it budget friendly and quick and easy. Follow me, let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and heat your oven up to 400 degrees. So while that's heating up, then you want to go ahead and get a large mixing bowl out because you're going to mix your chicken in there before you begin your fritters. And then you also want to have, you want your donut hole pan, which I also use for homemade bagels. You want this. I just have like 9, but I have 2 of these tins. So that'll make about 18. It's just my husband and I, so we don't really eat that much. And we don't need to make a whole lot. However, you can make as many as you want. But this is just the size pan that I'm using right now. And let's get started on making our chicken fritter mixture while the oven's heating up. So I'm just using a canned white meat chicken. I just get the canned chicken at my local Walmart. You can use any brand. I'm just using Tyson's chicken. And I'm using this size can. It says it's undrained 12.5 ounces, but you want to drain it. So after you drain it, it's about 7.5 ounces. So it's the larger sized can, and I'm using 3. So drain it and then just add it into your mixture just like this. However, you can use regular chicken tenders or chicken breasts. That's your preference. You can use 4 or 5 chicken breasts. Just make sure that they are really cut up to like a really small minced sized meat. But I want to make this quick and easy, so I don't want to have to wait for the cooking to cook. And when you're making your fritters, you just want a quick and easy recipe. So for myself today, I'm just going to use a white canned chicken. But if you do use a fresh chicken, just make sure it's minced, and make sure when you're cooking your fritters, you're cooking it on a low temperature because you have to cook the meat as well. Otherwise, this is already fully cooked. So some of the pieces of the chicken are a little bit chunky, so I'm just going to shred it up with my fork just a little bit more to get it more minced. So once you have your chicken shredded up or cut up into like a minced size, then you're going to go ahead and add in your seasonings. Okay, so you're going to start by adding 2 large eggs into your mixture. And this will help combine it. And then you're going to add a 1/3 cup of almond flour. Just add that right in. So then you can just sprinkle in the rest of your seasonings. I have parsley. Just kind of eyeball it and sprinkle it in. And then you can either just use plain oregano, but I'm using Italian seasoning today, and you're just going to sprinkle that in as well. And then you're going to use a little bit of garlic powder. Just kind of eyeball it in there. Some onion powder. And then you're just going to add some salt and pepper. And that's just to taste. And then I'm just going to give this a whisk and mix it all in and incorporate all the ingredients. So the last thing that you want to add into your chicken fritters is cheese. Now, the recipe normally calls for mozzarella. However, you can use any cheese blend that you like. I prefer mild cheddar, and I like the finely shredded kind. So I look for it to say mild. I'm adding 2 cups in there because I really like mine cheesy. So then you're just gonna give this a quick stir with a spoon, a fork, whatever's easier for you to use, just to make sure it's all incorporated. So I'm just setting the mixture aside, and I'm gonna heat up some olive oil, about 2 tablespoons. You can add a little bit more in your frying pan. So you just want to heat it up to a low temperature. And then in the meantime, while I'm waiting for my oil to heat up, I have 1 large onion, and I'm just going to slice it because that's how I'm making my homemade onion rings. Okay, so I have a standard donut pan or bagel pan, but I use this for my onion rings. I kind of got 2 different sizes. I have large, and then I have maybe about a medium size for the bigger pieces. So what you first want to do is spray your pans. Now I'm heating my frying pan with olive oil. You can use avocado oil, any type of oil that you want, just to make sure it's low carb or keto friendly. And I'm just using a standard avocado spray, and I'm just spraying my frying pan, or my pans with these. That way it doesn't stick. They are non-stick pans, but why chance it, right? So I'm still gonna spray them. And my oven's been heating up at 400 degrees for this, and it's already ready to go. I'm just waiting for my olive oil to heat up in my pan to put my fritters in. So you just wanna slice your onion rings. You can slice it as thick or as thin as you want. You just wanna make sure you find onion rings that are about the size of your pan. If you can't, that's fine. You can always slice up your larger onion ring and fit it around the ring. But the first thing you want to do after you spray your pan is you want to add cheese. Once again, it's your preference on the type of cheese that you use. I'm a favorite of just mild cheddar, and I have always bulk mild cheddar. So what you're going to do is just sprinkle it in the bottom of your pan. It just has to be a thin layer. It doesn't have to be a thick layer. So just enough to coat the bottom of your pan, and I'll give you an idea of what I'm doing. So let me do a few. And that's just going to be your bottom layer. And you're going to do this all the way around on all of your tins. So I'm going to show you. So this is what it looks like. You're just putting a light bit of cheese on the bottom. And I'm gonna finish this up. Okay, so the next thing that you're gonna do after you lay your cheese on the bottom, you're gonna choose what seasonings you want. You can use any seasoning you want for your homemade onion ring. You can put salt and pepper and leave it at that. You can just put your onion ring on and put the cheese on top and leave it at that. I'm gonna use onion and garlic powder, so I'm just gonna put it on top of my first layer of my cheese, and I'm just gonna go and sprinkle each little donut hole slot. And this just helps, gives it some flavor. So then the next thing that I'm gonna do is add my garlic powder. Okay, and then lastly, you want to go ahead and find the onion rings that will fit your holes. So for example, this size would be perfect, and you just put it over top of your ring, and you can just separate your rings and figure out which ones will fit. If you can't find any that'll fit, you can definitely cut it to size. Like this one is perfect size for that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. Okay, so then the last thing you want to do with your homemade onion rings is add the cheese topping just like this. And then I'm just going to sprinkle it again with just a little bit of garlic powder and salt powder. However, you can eliminate that process on top. It just gives it more flavoring. So I added a little bit more garlic powder and onion powder on top. You can even put a little bit of parsley on there. You can even do Italian season if you want. But I have Italian seasoning in my chicken fritters, so I think I'm just gonna go with garlic and onion powder. Now they are ready to go into the oven. My oven already dinged. So you wanna put them in the oven for about 20 minutes so that they crisp up. Check your oven to see if they're at your desired crispiness, and you pull them out and just let them sit and cool. And then you can just lift it with a little bit of a butter knife, and I'll show you what they look like when they're done. You do not have to flip them. My olive oil has been heating in my frying pan, so I am ready to start my fritters. So the next thing you want to grab is your I'm using a 3 tablespoon ice cream scoop. You can go with 1, you can go with a 2 tablespoon, but I'm going to do a 3 tablespoon. But you can do any desired size you want. So I'm going to get the onion rings in the oven because while they're baking, I'm going to be making my fritters. Okay, so the onion rings are already in the oven. I'm going to take my 3 tablespoons of my ice cream scoop, and I'm just going to gather my fritters in here. And you want to make sure you get the even amount, that way they cook all at the same time. Now you do not want to overwhelm your pan, so I would do about 3 to 4 in there. My olive oil has been heating, so I'm just going to scoop these in one by one. So then you just want to pat that down flat. So I just put about 4 comfortably in the pan because you don't want to decrease the temperature of your grease, and you want them to be brown and crispy. Now keep in mind your chicken's already cooked. Now if you do use a raw chicken, that's okay. They're just going to take a little longer to cook, and you want to make sure that they get all the way done. So you just want to cook it on a low temperature. And that's what I'm doing, even though my chicken fritters are fully cooked for the chicken part of it. But you just want a nice crispy golden brown. So I'm just going to do 4 at a time. So while those are frying up, you want to get a cookie sheet, and you can line it either with a non-stick foil, or you can just use parchment paper, and then you're going to take them out and just let the grease drain. However, you can also use a cookie rack and let the juice drain that way. But I think it's quicker and easier if you use a non-stick foil or parchment paper and just let them sit and let the juices drain. And you do want them to set that way you don't get chicken dry, because even though you're letting the grease itself drain, but the juices of the chicken and everything are going to go back in, and then you want it to stay crisp up. So I'm going to check on these, and then I'm going to line my cookie sheet, and you just want them to sit and rest for a few minutes. It smells amazing in here. Not only my onion rings got 15 more minutes, but I think the first batch of my chicken fritters are ready to come out. And I just lined this up. I have a non-stick pan foil on my pan, but you can use parchment paper, or a cookie rack would work just as good. So this is what they should look like, and the other side is getting there, and they're ready to come out. And then you just repeat until however many you want to make is cooked. You could cook up the whole batter, or you can just refrigerate it and make it fresh the next day. So while these are frying, you want to fry them maybe about 2 to 4 minutes per side. Just check on them. It just depends upon the size of your fritter, and also if you use cooked chicken or raw chicken. It's my new batch. Okay, so my onion rings are done, and they just got taken out of the oven. You just want to sit and let them rest so they crisp up more. And there's what they look like out of the oven. Just let them sit in the pan and rest for about a minute or 2. So the last batch is in, and I just want to show you what they look like. So you have your chicken fritters, and then you have your onion rings, all homemade. Not only this is quick and easy, but definitely budget friendly. Now you can use your favorite sauce. So I'm going to use a Rails marinara sauce, and let me show you the sauce for my onion rings. So I'm just using a zesty ranch, and I'm just using a Rails homemade sauce because this is low carb, and also it's less sugar. And let me thank you for watching, and if you enjoy my recipe, please catch me on my channel at Keto-Lifestyle and Low Carb Cooking with Melissa. Click that bell because that way you get any new, wonderful, delicious, quick and easy, budget-friendly recipes that I post in the future. I hope you enjoy this recipe, and it's definitely quick and easy, and it didn't take much time, and most of the stuff you already have in your pantry. Thanks for watching, and have a great night. I'm going to go enjoy.